Great, thank you, Andres. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I hope you have a great next couple of days, meet some great people, get some new ideas. Many of you had businesses and you had to adapt and go through COVID times. Maybe the first week or two or month or two, weren't sure how that was going to go, and you had to be agile. And right now, we're in a time with high interest rates, higher expensive debt, variable debt for some of you, recapitalizing things. Maybe capital raising is a little bit harder than it was. Maybe allocating your capital, you're being a little bit more careful because of what happened maybe in a few real estate deals or something you were in. So I think what the time we're in leads to having a community like this helping even more than it would during normal times or times when everything is going smooth and just as expected. So I hope you get a lot from this event that helps you with adapting to whatever you're trying to adapt to right now very quickly. I see running this investor club, which I started in 2007, as really a perpetual learning machine for myself, for my team, and for all of you as members. We have 120 plus speakers on stage between today, tomorrow, and the next day. Typically, if you go to an event that's 3 days long, there'll be 50 or 60 investors on stage. Typically, big events break it up into 3 or 4 different streams. And that's great if one of the stream hits you between the eyes and all the other streams look worthless to you. But what happens then is that an event that brags about 100 speakers on stage, you miss 80 of them or 60 of them because you're in one stream and you miss everything else going on. We're not like that. We have no Oxford professors, no former Army generals up here speaking for 45 minutes that we paid $50,000 to give a keynote. We have 0 paid speakers out of 120 speakers here. If there's a billionaire, a family office, an angel investor, a whole panel of pro athletes, single family offices, centimillionaires, everyone you see speaking on stage, they're here to meet you, to share ideas, to share strategies, to get business done. They're not here as a paid keynote speaker, and you're not missing half the content because we broke stuff up in different streams. Because of that, we don't have a whole bunch of scheduled breaks. We have networking in the morning. We start at 10 a.m. so you can get on top of your emails for the day. You can go hit the gym if you want to, get a phone call or 2 done, and then come here with your full attention for the day. We have a lunch break for networking, and then we have cocktail networking after the event. We had cocktail networking yesterday evening, so we have 10 networking sessions, but you'll see no scheduled breaks in the agenda because we're trying to get through as many speakers on stage as possible over 3 days. The longest that anyone will give a keynote for is 15, 20 minutes. The panels go by pretty quickly. We have some exciting panels. One of them, we're going to be rating people's one-liner and brand during the event, and the investors will hold up signs rating them and giving feedback on them. And we're going to have a lot of different content that's helpful to investors, company CEOs, private equity, hedge fund types in the room. I hope you find it really enjoyable. I've spoken at over 500 events in 20 countries, and we've hosted 275 of our own events, and I don't want to get bored at my own event, so we keep it moving real quick, and I hope you have a great time here. So as Andres mentioned, my name is Richard Wilson. We've got a 20-plus person team. Anything you hear at this event or any podcast or any event you go to for the rest of your life, make sure you can actually go and implement it within your legal structure and jurisdiction, whether you're based in Switzerland or Brooklyn, et cetera, obviously. You're going to hear a lot of different ideas on stage the next few days. We're honored here to have Dan Pinkerton from Pinkerton Wealth Management and Retirement Specialists as our title sponsor for the event. After I'm done going through a couple slides here, he's going to open up the event with his talk. He has over 37 years of experience in the wealth management industry. And he manages well over $1 billion in capital, so he'll be kicking things off as our first standalone once I'm wrapped up here. I'm going to be doing a fireside chat with Mitzi Perdue during this event. So we're going to go into next-gen strategies. She comes from the Perdue Chicken family and the Sheraton Hotel family, and we're going to be spending some time on next-gen strategies. I'm also giving a talk on next-gen strategies on day 3 of the event on Thursday. Paul Hutchinson is the executive producer, the person behind the Sound of Freedom movie, which many of you have seen. He's going to be giving a talk during the event here. Later today, we have a fireside chat with Todd, who scaled his T-Mobile stores from 0 to 150 plus to an exit. And we're going to talk about how he did that, what he learned as a CEO, as an entrepreneur. And I think from a lot of these talks, you're going to be able to take multiple things away and apply to your own business. We also have Larry Namer back, who was here a couple of years ago in New York to do a fireside chat. He's the founder of the E-Channel and sold that for over $3 billion to a large media conglomerate. And he's going to be talking about how he was able to scale that platform. So there's just a few preview notes about the content coming up. I think one of our strengths at Family Office Club, and I'm not going to read through all the statistics here, is really just trying to operate by our values as much as we can, just like the strength of your investment portfolio or your company. And one thing that we always try to emphasize a few times during our events is making sure that your family, not just your business, has your values defined and hopefully, on the wall above your kitchen table. Because I think the more integrated your family and your life and your business are, then the better things go for you, the less friction there is in your life or business. And that's been the number one thing that's really helped us scale over the last 17 years. At our last event, we recorded some great content. We had a fireside chat with billionaire Jeff Hoffman, founder of the airport check-in kiosk. That's up in our investor portal. If you're a member or an investor with us, make sure and stream that if you missed it live in person in Beverly Hills. The newly launched investor portal for investorclub.com now is live. If you're an investor with us and you're here as an investor and not a charter member, make sure you have access to investorclub.com. We have a whole new members area for investors there you'll find super helpful. You can also see the fireside chat I did with Kevin Harrington, who is the creator of the As Seen on TV brand. He created the infomercial. He's closed over 1,000 deals during his life, and he shared a lot on stage. He was one of the early investors in Celsius, which has now grown in value about 1,000 times over since he invested, and he shared some great thoughts on stage as well at our last event. As I mentioned, we've been doing this for over 17 years. We have learned a lot of different things over time, and we come from the perspective of helping people set up their family office, helping them structure or negotiate transactions, but also I started my career on the capital raising side of things, so we also have that perspective. We know how challenging it can be, and we know how just having a 1% edge over another person who's raising capital for a chain of dry cleaners or T-Mobile stores or self-storage, whatever it is, could mean getting the allocation from the investor versus not. So in a time like this, where some investors might wait to see the economy through or wait for an exceptional opportunity, it's really important to have all your ducks in a row and be institutional quality and be a class act and be aligned with the people you're investing with and very educational typically, and like what the process is going to look like for them as an investor, or you may just simply not get the investment done at all. One thing that we're trying to do, besides just running this investor club, to continually learn more, is study people who have created over $1 billion of value in their life. So as you've probably heard if you've been at our other events, we acquired billionaires.com about 2 years ago. We've interviewed over 40 billionaires. We've read over 85 books written by billionaires. And we're constantly studying them, interviewing them, and you can stream those interviews and read them for free at billionaires.com. We actually have one book here with us today from the only billionaire from the country of Nepal. You probably saw some pictures of me and some of our investors and family hiking to Everest Base Camp about a year and 2 months ago. And Binod is from Nepal, and he's got a book. We have it available here. If you'd like a copy, you just pick up a copy, let our team know, and then we'll charge the $10 to your card on file, and you can pick up one of these books and learn directly from a billionaire. Part of my theory on studying and reading every book authored by a billionaire, not on them, is just that you only have so much time to take in knowledge and information. And Dan Sullivan taught me that there's two types of information. There's worthless knowledge and there's specialized knowledge. And I hope by you being here the next 3 days, you get a whole bunch of specialized knowledge, like a fire hose of insights from on stage. But also, you could read books from anybody. You could read books from people really good at marketing their books, or you could read books by people who are really good at business, called billionaires, typically, right? And so that's part of our theory on studying them. Here are some books, if you want to take a quick screenshot. If you haven't read these books, these are the top 20 or so to start with, of books that are authored by billionaires. Many of you already have this slide, so just leave it up here for another 3 seconds, take a quick picture if you need one, and then we'll keep on moving. Great. Thanks to Daniel Pewter, I got to interview Mike Tyson recently. We have that up in our portal as well. You can check that out on our YouTube channel. And you'll be hearing from pro athletes and a lot of exceptional professionals today. Part of the theme we try to bring up here, and part of what I was reading through in the notes for Todd, our fireside chat this morning, is about the focus on health and investing in your health. It's completely backwards to invest in being here at this investor club or invest in real estate and companies and not invest in your health. It's completely backwards for relatively obvious reasons, but I have many clients worth tens and tens of millions of dollars who invest almost nothing in their health, and they're so excited about business and they're so busy all the time that they don't do things that are just obviously healthy for themselves. So we like to spread that message here at our investor club. Selfishly, I like to talk about it to remind myself to invest in my own health, but I've found that others like to share notes on it as well, and that'll come up during the event. I'm going to show a few pictures of Mark Cuban during the event because he always stresses that if you outlearn and outwork others, you can be very successful. You don't need to have all the capital in the world to start with. You don't need to be born ultra wealthy. You don't need to have X, Y, and Z advantage. Most people do not want to outlearn and outwork others. And if you work harder than others at becoming smarter, you can work hard and work smart, and it's a huge competitive advantage over others that don't want to. Some of you might like to watch golf on TV. I'm guessing most of you don't, even if you like to play it. Some of you have seen Drive to Survive, the F1 show, or might find basketball in person, very exciting to watch. We want that to be the feeling of coming to our events, very fast moving, and constantly picking up new strategies and structures. There's different ways of benefiting from being here. You might meet a new business partner, a joint venture partner, somebody to hire and add to your team. You might meet someone and then later on down the road could do something big with them. You could hear about a new investment structure, a way to get a deal done with somebody who already told you no or said, no, we can't work with you that way. We only invest in direct deals. We only do debt. We only do equity. We only do preferred equity, et cetera. Part of it might be you getting the conviction to move forward on something you thought you needed to, and then after hearing 5 different family offices say that that's the direction they're going into, you now have the conviction to actually go and do it after being here today. I hope you meet a few peers that you can hold each other accountable with over time. You might meet an investor, and there might be some very counterintuitive lessons and insights and case studies you pick up. There could be someone speaking in a completely different industry you have no interest in at all, but the way they present their idea, the way they communicate, or the way they handle themselves allows you to become a better communicator or a better businessman or businesswoman, et cetera. Here's a picture of our team. We appreciate all their hard work and appreciate you being kind to them. If you need help with anything, just let our team know out at the front entry booth. If you're new to our club, make sure you do your welcome walkthrough call with Jennifer or with Laura on our team, just to get oriented how to use our team and use our company. So that's a picture of my wife here, my daughters, bit of my home team, and then I usually like to show us a couple cool things we've done lately, fun outside, adventure-wise. We just got back from this 5-day trek in Peru about 10 days ago. If anyone needs a guide for Peru, we had an amazing time there with 12 different doctors, dentists, investors, family members, and had a great time going out there, and some of the best food we've had in any country that we've visited to date, so definitely recommend that. Some pictures of our group there, my wife and I at Machu Picchu. This is some of the other adventures we've gone on over time with investors and friends and family members. We don't have time to go through all these example deals closed in our community, but on our website now, we do have a transaction hall of fame. So if you've gotten a deal done here, a transaction sourced or closed or funded, let us know, and we can put that up on our website on the transaction hall of fame if you want it there. Happy to do that. Maximizing your return here. Number one thing is just to keep in mind that many people who have built and sold a business don't have a name tag on that says CEO of Wilson Family Office. They've started their next business, or they have a family office, but they don't have a public website. Or right now they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do next, and they have several operating businesses, but as Sam Zell says, his goal is to be chairman of everything and CEO of nothing. So many times the wealthiest people in the room may not look very different from some other people in the room who are really trying to grow their first venture or platform. They might say, oh, I've got a couple car washes. But they're being humble about it. They might have 140 car washes, right? Or they might have just sold their 50 car washes. So it's just important to know that adding value to others, being helpful to others in our community is really how our club and our community really works. And the more that you come, over a year and a half, 2 years, you'll start to see familiar faces in the room, as I see 100 plus familiar faces in the room right now, and then you will as well, and then it makes it easier to do business, learn, and just be helpful to each other. We all have 10,000 competitors in any niche that you're in typically, and there's just hundreds of people here in the room, not your competitors really. So we try to encourage everyone to be kind, polite, also concise, not super long-winded. If you connect with an investor comes off stage, talking to them for a whole 20 minutes about what you're trying to do is probably not the right place and time. Have your one-liner on what you're doing and be succinct and concise so you can follow up afterwards and put a face with a name. The number one mistake of people who come is just thinking linearly, thinking, I have a fund, who wants to invest in my fund? Or I need this, who wants to buy what I have? Many times people want to get to know you, even if they're in the market to buy something. They want to build a relationship and they need context around who you are. Investing is not about who's promising the biggest IRR. It's many times around conviction, trust, security, comfortability, understanding how something works. And that requires a relationship and trust. It requires a community. It's not just a one-time transaction. Oh yeah, we talked for 5 minutes. If your numbers look good on your piece of paper, then I will invest. That's the opposite of typically how investments work. So just keep a broader view of the industry, options of working with people, and think about how to add value to somebody else first before trying to pitch them or sell them. I'm going to go over on day 2 some structures to use and structure strategies on closing more deals. It's the number one overlooked thing by new investors who are ultra wealthy, not structuring their deal correctly, not structuring it creatively. And almost all of the greatest deals I've gotten done, including marrying my wife, started with a no, it's not going to happen, and then restructure the deal, and it worked well. So many times investors say, someone selling an asset to me will say, this is not going to happen, you're wasting your time. And I say, well, what if we structure it this way? I say, okay, we'll do that deal. Instantly, the very next sentence, they do the deal because of the structure. That's massively overlooked. If you haven't gone down the rabbit hole of all the 100 options of structuring your deals creatively, then you're missing out on lots of great deals you could be getting done. So just please keep that in mind, and we'll be talking about it later today. I hope through the whole event, you pick up on a whole number of strategies, structures, new insights, get greater conviction on something you were wondering if you should do or not, stack them all up on top of each other to create a real unfair advantage against what you were going to do or the old version of yourself, and become stronger and smarter at each event you go to with us.